All right, so this video has some sentimental value to me, okay? Because there's a lot of guys who get ghosted after the first date. There's a lot of guys who don't know how to have a proper first date. And another big problem is there's a lot of content creators that I see that are telling you how to have a good first date, but it's completely backwards because all they're trying to do on the first date is basically increase her romantic desire quickly so things will escalate intimately and lead to the bedroom quickly. And that is not how you want to do it, because as a man, that's going to signal a lot of urgency. Okay, and as you signal that type of urgency, she's going to start to get turned off. So what I'm going to show you is how to not get ghosted after a date. And this is the exact steps to actually decode female nature instantly. This topic is near and dear to my heart because over the past 10 years, I have had to learn all of these things by myself. I've had to learn all of these things without any help. I've had to learn all this stuff and go through all of the trials and tribulations and hardship. Over the years, I've lost numerous amounts of dates and relationships with women I really liked because I just didn't know any better. I didn't know what I was doing. And it took me so many years to figure all this out. Now, because of that, I want to just dive right in. And then after this video is over, what I want you to do is if you align with these topics and you align with the stuff that I'm teaching you, I want you to take this at an even deeper level because we now have over 1,500 guys inside of our community learning, understanding, and mastering the language of women. And because I have so many guys getting results, I know that I can help you too. So after today's video is over, I want you to join us inside of that. It's amazing. So here's what you have to know. You only get ghosted because you feel the need to follow up. I'm going to say that one more time. You feel the need to follow up. You only get ghosted because you feel like you have to follow up. And the reason why you feel like you have to follow up is because you have no control over your lust and your sex drive controls you. And this is the biggest problem is you're constantly thinking, oh, how can I gain intimacy and companionship? And it's just a terrible way of thinking as a man because she sees how weak you are. Listen to me very closely. You only get ghosted because you feel the need to follow up. You feel the need to follow up because of the cell phone, okay? If you didn't have one, you wouldn't know any better. You wouldn't know any better to follow up. You wouldn't try to contact her after that date, because you wouldn't have the ability to. So the phone creates feelings of urgency to carry out unnecessary amounts of communication. And this is why you lose out on the dates. This is why you lose out on her interest because you're actually trying to attract her. And that's not something that you can control. Attraction just happens. So you have to show up on the date. You have to have a good first date. But you cannot try to dictate the outcome of that date, and I'm going to show you why in just a second. In the old days, if you had a good date with no phone, you would have went home and wondered when you'll get to see her, okay? You would have wondered when you'll get to see her again, okay? Or when the next time that you would get to actually see her would be. And guess what? She probably felt the same. She probably had feelings of anticipation and there was mystery involved because she didn't know when she would get to see you. And she probably had some feelings of uncertainty because she doesn't know if you necessarily like her yet. And she doesn't know how this will unfold and she's hoping that it unfolds. Okay? She probably feels the same. By you following up and communicating, okay, her feelings fade. And I'm going to explain why. Here's the difference between men and women. Let's use this example. Let's say you have a couch or a sofa. Here's the difference between men and women. Let's say you take a guy and you set him down on the couch, and then you put a woman next to him who he considers like normal and average and just a good woman, right? Maybe she isn't the most beautiful. She's just a woman that he's going to talk to. And let's say you sit them down together for 7 days straight. Because of the time spent and the bond he is going to form with her, if they had to just sit there for a few days, he's going to end up growing feelings towards her because of the time spent. Okay? He's going to end up caring about her because he's sitting right there next to her. Even if she isn't the most attractive woman in the world, women are completely opposite. You could have a woman sit down on the couch next to a famous celebrity, and if she sits there for 3 days or if she sits there for a week and talks to him, he could be a 10 out of 10 most desirable man ever. And when that next day rolls around, she is so sick and tired of him, because the more time you spend with her, the less she likes you. Her feelings fade. That is the best way that I can describe this. So if you're wondering, well, Casey, how do I not get ghosted after the date? What are the steps to do this? What is the steps to actually decode female nature properly? I'm going to show you. Step 1, you are going to just go out on the date. You're going to just go out on the date like a normal dude. And this is what I call middle game secrets. If you guys are familiar with my process in the language of women, I break it down into front end game, middle game, and back end game. I have an entire system and process for that. So, I'm also teaching you here how to act so women are nice to you. In step 1 right here, when I say you are just going to go out on the date, and this is middle game secrets that I'm about to show you, and I consider middle game between the first 1 to 3 dates, what I'm really doing in this column is I'm going to show you how to make sure women want to be nice to you. How to make sure that you act properly so the woman that's in front of you wants to be sweet to you and nice to you and not be mean to you. Because that's what typically happens is you go out on a date and you pay for this date and then you don't know how to act or carry yourself and then you feel like you just spent money on this date for no reason. Okay, I'm going to fix all of this for you. What you're going to do is you're going to go out on the date and you're just going to have fun. But you're going to withhold romantic interest. So for those of you saying, well, isn't she going to friend zone me if I do that? No, not at all. If you're a masculine man and you carry yourself like a masculine man and you've been doing the work on yourself to be a masculine man, there's no point in friend zoning you. Just, you have to understand this here. There's no amount of seduction tactics or seduction strategies or game strategies that can make up for a lack of masculinity. So all you're going to do is you're going to just go out on the date with a smile on your face, pretty normal, pretty natural, and you're going to withhold romantic interest. You're not going to try to escalate anything, because this is the whole problem, is every single time a guy tries to escalate romantically or escalate on an intimate level, all he's done is revealed his interest level that basically says, I like you. Yes, I would like to kiss you. Yes, I'd like to snuggle up with you on the couch. That is the last thing that you want to do at this point. Every single dude that finds her attractive would probably like to do that. You have to run things a bit differently. You want her to leave the date not knowing how you feel about her. This is the secret right here. So I don't care what others tell you. I don't care what other content creators tell you. I don't care. All the other content creators are probably literally just attached to their own pleasure and probably have no self-control. So this is what you have to realize. Most guys are weak, even if they can obtain intimacy and romantic desire from a woman. You have to really understand this here. I don't care what other dating coaches tell you. Don't try to escalate anything. Most guys are just basically attached to their own pleasure. So the goal is to get her to want to keep seeing you. This is the goal. The goal isn't to just get laid. The goal isn't to, oh my gosh, we slept together. This is amazing. The goal is to obtain her desire so she wants to keep seeing you. Day after day, month after month, week after week, and potentially year after year. That's a skill set. That is game. That's where the real game starts, okay? So the goal is to get her to want to keep seeing you. So I don't care what other people say, okay? They're like, oh, well, you know what? I'm not going to withhold romantic desire, and I'm not going to do that because she slept with that other guy on the first date. You have to really look at this for what it is. If you say things like this, your pleasures will control you for your whole life. So what you're going to do is you're just going to go out on the date, and then when the date's over, you're going to say, I'll catch you later. Nonchalant, laid back, relaxed energy. In middle game, we withhold interest. You're cool, calm, and collected. All right, catch you later. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to walk her to her car. You don't need to tell her you had a great time. None of that. Just go out on the date and go have fun and make it normal where you got to know a new person. She's a stranger, you're a stranger. If this was a brand new dude that you just met that you want to go grab a drink with and you guys have never met before, you wouldn't act like this is some amazing thing where you don't know if you guys are going to be friends or whatever. You're just going to go and it's normal. So that's the first step. Just go out on the date and stop trying to do anything on the date. Don't try to escalate. Don't try to say this to have verbal banter to do this. All this is stupid. So step 2, you are going to do nothing and wait. Yes, you're going to do absolutely nothing. After that date is over, you're going to do nothing. You're going to sit silent. Because the hope is that she text messages you saying that she had a great time. Now, why would you want to do this? Why would you want her to reach out to you first? It's not because we're stubborn. It's not because we're rude. And it's not because we need all the leverage and power just for our own ego. That is not why. We are doing this to satisfy hypergamy. See, those of you saying, oh, you're just doing this because you're stubborn and rude. No, no, no. We are doing this to satisfy hypergamy. Look at this analogy that I made for you right here. If you actually love her, don't talk to her. Let that sink in. If you actually love her, if you actually want a relationship with her, if you actually want to see her again, don't talk to her. Get her to love you. Do the right steps to satisfy hypergamy so she wants you. If you actually want to see her, why don't you just do the right things for once? But see, most guys can't do this because their pleasures control them. You think you have to say the right thing, do the right thing. Now you have all this urgency on you. You feel like you have to be intimate for whatever reason. The funniest thing about this is every woman you've ever lost, what's funny about it is you'll notice if you would have just extended the time horizon a little bit longer, a few more months, without needing to send that text message, needing to do that phone call, you let a week go by, you would probably still be with that person. But the problem is your emotions start to control you and get the better of you, and you think that you have to be urgent to fix a situation or to contact her or to reach out right now. See, it's not that a stoic man does not feel emotions. It's that he's better at managing his own, and he's a bit more calculated, and he knows when to express certain things instead of just being reactive to everything. So after the date, you might be wondering, well, what should I do? You're going to do nothing. You're going to go home and you're going to do whatever you want to do. Go lift weights or whatever. The hope is, number one, she messages you and says that she had a great time. Or number two, the second hope, if she doesn't do this, is that she sends you something random. She text messages you and says, oh, I just had an amazing burrito today that I ate and a quesadilla. Or she sends you a picture of her dog or her puppy or her cat. And she says, oh, just about to go for a walk with my dog. She's sparking conversation. She wants to see you again. She wants to talk to you. You want her to say, how was your weekend? How was your Christmas? How was your New Year's? What are you up to? That right there is how you start to satisfy hypergamy. Okay? So here's what you have to know in step 2. Women have game too. So there's a lot of women out there. Most of them are probably going to be of the belief that the man needs to pursue her in the beginning. So even if she likes you, even if she really wants you, she's going to tell herself, well, I'm not going to do all the pursuing. He needs to do a little bit. He needs to pursue me in the beginning, right? I'm the woman. I should feel validated and pursued, right? That's what she might feel. Okay, so be it. That's fine. I'll play along with that game too. I will play along, so be it. I'll go down that path. Cool. Here's what's going to happen. Step 3. You're going to extend your time horizon with the frequency and your options. So women operate on a longer time horizon than men when it comes to their desire to want to keep seeing a guy. Most men don't know this. Okay? There's women who I have seen for 8 to 12 months. Some of them I haven't talked to in a few weeks. Yesterday, there was one who I haven't talked to in probably 3 or 4 weeks, and she sends me a message that says, hi, babe. This is how it goes. They need time to test your emotional strength and fortitude level and the amount of options that you have. So you're going to extend your time horizon with the frequency of your options, okay? Women operate on a longer time horizon. So here's what's going to happen. In step 3, if she doesn't send you anything where she had a great time or anything like that, but maybe she still has desire, this is all you're going to do. Every 10 to 14 days or more, maybe even go 20 days if you need to. Do this with every woman that you go out on a date with. You're going to finally just send that one message every 10 to maybe 20 days. What you're going to do is, let's say in a 6-month time period, let's say you go on 10 to 15 dates. You're going to do the same strategy with all of them. And what you're going to do is you're going to let the high interest ones rise to the top. Now, here's the funniest thing about this. When you don't pursue a woman and you don't seem as if you're urgent to need intimate or romantic access or desire, guess what happens? She naturally wants to start to have romantic desire with you. This is what you're going to find happen. So most of you are going to say, well, if I wait that long, what if a different guy comes in and starts to date her? Yeah, maybe. But also, what if he shows too much interest and then she's done with him in a few weeks like she typically is for her whole life, which is why she's still single into her late 20s, 30s, and 40s. See, this is what happens. You have to think ahead of the game a little bit here. So let the high interest ones rise to the top. What you're doing is you're demonstrating a few things. The first thing that you're demonstrating is your pleasures don't control you. Okay? Your pleasures do not control you. Number two, you're demonstrating that you're pre-selected and you don't need communication. I don't need communication. I don't need to send a text message to you that says, what are you doing this Friday? I don't need to send a text message to you that says, how was your morning? What did you do for lunch? How was your weekend? None of that. I'm stronger than that. I'm a man. You're pre-selected. You don't need communication. And number three, you're demonstrating that you have options. It's like, hey, I like you, but I don't need you. I like you, but I don't need to see you. I like you, but I don't need to talk to you on the phone. I like you, but I don't need to send that text message. I like you. I'll see you if you're here, but I don't need it. I'm content. I'm complete. I'm whole as is. I'm a whole individual with my own stuff going on. This is step 3. Extend the time horizon. See, most of you guys can't do this because you constantly think, you're not man enough if you don't escalate things romantically. You're not man enough if you don't obtain her intimate desire within a certain amount of days or whatever. You have all these thoughts. And at the end of it, it's because all your pleasures control you and you know that you're weak. This is the whole problem. All of these guys out there, if you even hear another dating coach or content creator saying, this is how you escalate, this is the whole problem. This right here is the whole problem. You will be attached to your own pleasures for the rest of your life and never content. And every single night when you go to bed, there's that feeling of urgency again, wondering if you're enough. Don't act like you don't know what I'm talking about. Don't act like you're unaware of it. Don't act like you don't know what I'm saying because you know exactly what I'm saying. And that sits with you every single day. I'm teaching you how to get ahead of the game so you can beat some of these thoughts, feelings, and emotions, and you can actually get ahead quicker. Keep that in mind. So, you're demonstrating you're pre-selected. You're demonstrating you're a man's man. You're demonstrating you don't need communication. She gets that text message, that attention from you once every 10 to 20 days. If she double text messages you and reaches out a little bit more, cool. If you're middle of the conversation, use some competency and some social awareness. Say, hey, what are you up to right now? Want to go grab food? Let's go grab food. Maybe she's ready right then and there because that's the reason why she's texting you. Play this by ear. Play it slowly. See how things develop. See, here's the funniest thing. Every single woman you've ever lost out on, you'll notice that you're still alive and she's still alive. So what's the rush? There was never a rush. And that rush that you thought there was to fix the situation, to communicate more, to do this, to do that, that was the whole problem. That was your emotions telling you that there's a problem that needs to be fixed and you need this communication or the whole thing's going to dissolve. And the problem right there is that you thought that meant something. You thought that you needed that communication in the first place, and you thought that if you didn't communicate, it would have dissolved. And that was the exact reason why the relationship dissolved in the first place. If you can sit and be patient, she has no reason to ghost you because you have not demonstrated low value behavior. You have no idea how many failures it took me to internalize these concepts. You have no idea how many dates I had to go on and fail to learn this stuff. You have no idea how much I had to fail with this relationship lasted 2 months and this relationship lasted a year. And I saw this woman for 6 months and I don't know why this dissolved. And then over here, I was this age and me and this woman, we talked for a couple weeks and things were great. And there was all this romantic desire and all this intimacy. And then it was just over. And you have no idea how much I had to go through to teach you this. You have no idea. So because of that, if you just trust me a little bit here and you let some old man wisdom kick in, I don't care what dating app you downloaded or social media or whatever. All that's irrelevant, and I don't care how much attention she's overloaded with all these different options because women want the one option that they want, and they're going to forever want the one option that they want, and that's called hypergamy, and I don't care who slips into that inbox because once I've obtained her real emotional desire, I win. So, let's move on. Step 4. You're going to let everything just flow naturally. The relationship will naturally evolve step by step. After her being with you for a few hours, maybe she's with you for a period of days, weeks, or an extended amount of hours. You're going to start to hear things where she goes, I feel so comfortable with you. I feel like we have this amazing natural progression. You're even going to hear women say things like, I feel like our relationship is progressing. You're going to hear this. See, here's the funniest thing. When you start to actually look at a woman's mating strategy, if you just start satisfying what they're interested in, of what they're wanting out of a man, you'll obtain whatever you'd like as well. You'll get her romantic desire without even needing to try, because you know what she's looking for, right? Think of it like a business, right? If you give the consumer what they want, not what you want to give them, if you actually listen to them with your ears and you say, hey, what do you want? And I'm going to do this for you. They have no reason to deny your service or to go somewhere else. You're fulfilling what they want. I'm teaching you how to fulfill what she wants. She wants her hypergamy satisfied. This is how you do it. Stop thinking you need to prove your worth and you need to prove your own ego and you need to prove that you can obtain her romantic desire and intimately lead things to the bedroom, because that is why all of your relationships have failed. That is why every woman you've slept with over the past 10 years doesn't like you. You have no idea how many failures I had to go through to learn this. So, you're going to let it flow naturally. You're going to have a natural progression. And guess what's going to happen? She's going to say, I feel so comfortable with you. I feel like our relationship is progressing naturally. I feel like I don't have to try with you. I feel so safe with you. I feel so comfortable with you. And then guess what's going to happen? You won't get friend zoned because you are demonstrating what a woman would want, which is a masculine man in these categories. I'm going to tell you this. There's no amount of game. There's no amount of seduction. There's no amount of any of that. There's no amount of game. There's no amount of seduction that can make up for your lack of masculinity. And these beliefs that I'm helping you obtain are going to not only help your emotional state in your mind, but this is actually going to help your relationships. So now step 5 is just let the relationship and the progression unfold slowly. You guys will end up, let's say, being romantic or sleeping together when that time comes and the vibe is there and that just happened and she was right there with you. But this isn't something you need to try to prove to yourself anymore. Your pleasures don't control you. That urgency, those thoughts, feelings, and emotions in your mind of urgency of trying to prove yourself on that date. I need to urgently text her right afterwards to prove myself, to make sure she liked me, all this stuff. You need to get rid of that real quick. So you might be saying, well, Casey, if I only text message her once every 10 to 20 days, or there's not a lot of communication, what about her other options? Do you understand that most women don't like any of the men that they could be with? Do you understand that most women don't like any of the options that they have? Do you understand that every single guy over pursues and doesn't understand that a woman needs her space and time in order to process her own thoughts, feelings, and emotions of who she wants to be with? Do you understand that every single guy is screwing up, even if they're tall, even if they're rich, even if they're successful, and even if they have high status? Do you understand that women don't like most guys? Do you get that? You don't have to worry about her other options. You don't have to worry about her sleeping with anybody else, because women optimize hypergamy for the best and the strongest fit, and that is dictated by how you act. That is not dictated by your bank balance. Once her feminine emotions are invested in a specific guy, she is now closed for business. Her feminine intuition, her feminine emotions, the feminine feelings that her heart is giving her, she is closed for business and she is not wanting any other options. Okay? She's closed off emotionally. Keep that in mind. There's no getting through to her at this point because she has consolidated and solidified who is the man in her eyes that she wants to be with. So, women self-monitor and self-regulate their options and their emotions, okay, when they're actually invested. Which means what I'm showing you here how to do, like if I could basically sum up in one quick sentence what I just did for you on this marker board. What I did was, for once, I finally showed you how to get a woman invested in you as a man, so you have a companion that actually smiles and wants to be with you, instead of teaching you how to get laid. Because everybody teaches you how to get laid, and then every single night when you go to bed and you're alone, every single day you're sad. So that's what I just fixed, okay? This is exactly what I just fixed. If you like this video, hit the like button, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to join us inside of our community. We've just crossed over 1,500 guys, and we'll see you in the next one.